What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, I will be going over the thoughts of none other than the Emperor of Mankind. We are going into the excerpt from Master of Mankind, one of my all-time favorite 40K novels that really gives you a good insight as to who the Emperor is and why he has done the things he wanted to do for humanity. In this one, we get to see his plan for the webway and what he wanted to do for humanity so that they could conquer this awesome piece of not real space, because it's almost like an interdimensional space. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right into this excerpt from the Master of Mankind. Here, among the Eldar, all was at peace. He saw orbital platforms of sorcery-spun bone, so delicate that a breath of solar wind would surely shatter their tenuous frailty. He saw lush worlds of vegetation, where spirals of crystal and psychically sung wraithbone formed great spires and connecting walkways, where webway gates flared with endless use inside the towers of grand bloodlines. He saw a race crying out for more, always for more, for music that stimulated the biology of their brains, for wine that sent fire through their nervous systems, for entertainment and pleasures that replaced dignity with the harmony of madness. He saw things wearing Eldar skin moving in the shadows of their sorcery, caressing with blades, killing with biting kisses, drinking blood and eating forbidden flesh with filled fang smiles. The truth burst from pale, alien flesh. It erupted free. Claws tore Eldar open from within, doorways of bloody meat ripping open in bodies and minds grown soft by decadence. Warp things crawled from ears, from nostrils, from tear ducts, shattering the skulls of their hosts as they swell and grew. Demons of hybrid gender, as much scorpion as maiden and man, shrieked newborn and blood wet at the burning skies. And far, far from such horrors, the human race was locked away in the isolation of the old night. A million different worlds with no capacity to contact one another, each one alone in the fiery twilight of eternal warp storms, raking through true space. Only as one species died could another rise. The Eldar's fall, damned by their own vices, eating into the wards around their psychic souls. Warp storms that had racked every world bled away, focusing in final clusters, the Maelstrom, the Ocularis Malefictia, and other far lesser besides. The human race rises, old night giving way to the dawn of the eternal storm as it recedes. A new godling has been born, Slaanesh. The Eldar weep and cry, Slaanesh, Slaanesh. But the rest of the suddenly silent galaxy takes its first breaths in this new age. Ships begin to sail, stellar empires form. One of those empires will become the only empire, the Imperium of Man, the twin kingdoms of Terra and Mars binding together to conquer the now serene night sky. A crusade, then an empire, all beneath one man's banner. Everything that has happened will happen again. It is the way of things. Yet humanity's death will eclipse the Eldar's annihilation tenfold, for we are evolving into a far more psychically powerful race. Uncontrolled psychic energy will tear a reality apart. The warp's entities will feed on the carcass of the galaxy. There must be control, and control must be maintained. Control? Ra, the custody repeated. The scale of such ambition. The necessity of it, lest mankind face a far harsher extinction than the Eldar. Their souls shine bright within the warp, drawing the predations of the beasts within its tides. Soon every human soul will become a beacon of fire. How? Ra wondered. How can you know? What other unbelievable futures have you foreseen? How can evolution itself be conquered and controlled? Through vision, Ra. We see the warp as an alternate reality, and this is so. It is a mirror reflecting our every thought and action, every hate, every death, every nightmare and dream, echoing into eternity. We break into this place, into a realm that harbors the pain and suffering of every man and woman and child to ever live, and we use it to sail between the stars, because we must, because until now there has been no other choice. The webway, Ra murmured into the silent night. The webway, mankind is ascending. Humanity has taken a great developmental step, evolving into a psychic race. Uncontrolled psychers are lodestones for the warp's touch. A species compromising them would suffer as the Eldar suffered. And for the Eldar, this evolutionary juncture was their final step before destruction. I will not let humanity be destroyed by the same fate. The Eldar had the answers within their grasp, but were too naive and too proud to save themselves. They had the webway, which could have been their salvation, but they never fully severed their connection to the warp. The soul fires drew damnation upon their entire species. Ra knew this, yet had it been related to him in these exact words, flavored as they were by the promise of prophecy. With the webway, humanity would need no navigators. They would never need to rely on the unreliable warp whispers of astropaths. Vessels would never enter the warp to be lost or torn apart by the entities that dwelt within it. But the Eldar had done the same, had they not? No. They eradicated their reliance on the warp, but they never severed their species' connection to it. I will do that for humanity, once and for all. Ra twisted in the nothingness, turning to stare at the light of so many distant stars. He faced terror without knowing how he knew its direction, only knowing that he knew this was right. One of those pinprick starlights was Sol, so far away. I have conquered humanity's cradle world. I have conquered the galaxy in order to shape mankind's development as it at last evolves into a psychic race. No isolated pockets of our species may remain free, lest in their ignorance they invite destruction upon us all. I have shattered the hold of faith and fear over the human mind. Superstition and religion must continue to be outlawed, for they are easy doors for the warp's descendants to enter the human heart. This is what we have already done, and soon I will offer humanity a way of interstellar travel without reliance upon Geller fields and navigators. I will offer them the means of communication between worlds without reliance on the warped dreams of astropaths. And when the Imperium shields the entire species within the laws of my Pax Imperialis, when humanity is freed from the warp and united beneath my vision, I can at last shepherd mankind's growth into a psychic race. The Primarchs, thought Ra, the Thunder Legion, the Unification Wars, the Great Crusade, the legions of the Space Marines, the Imperial Truth, the Webway Project, the Black Ships, the Psychers huddled in the holds, watched over by the Silent Sisterhood. Is it all about control? Tyranny is not the end. Ra, absolute control is but the means to an end. The hubris. Ra couldn't fight the insidiously treacherous thought to see the hidden depths of his master's ambition. The sheer, unrivaled hubris. The necessity. The Emperor's voice was iced iron, not arrogance, not vainglory, necessity. I have already told you, Ra, humans need rulers, and now you see why. A single murder is on one end of the spectrum, for rulers bring law. The hope of the entire race is at the far end of the continuum, for I, as ruler, bring salvation. And here you can see the Emperor's true ambitions for humanity, to make them the rulers of this galaxy through any and all means necessary. At first, he must unite them, for they need a ruler because they cannot be governing themselves, because that will lead to too much treachery. Of course, that is what led them to believe in false gods, believe into the chaos gods, kill one another. That is why the Emperor always needed to be in control, and in order to control them, he needed the Space Marines, the Primarchs, etc., all these things listed by Ra. And at the very end of the day, Because the Emperor had to be interred upon the Golden Throne, because the Emperor couldn't be the one to lead them directly, humanity has fallen from that grace, and it seems that they are in a state of which they themselves cannot help themselves to reach this enlightenment era of the Emperor's thoughts and beliefs. That is why Guilliman and the Lion are currently trying to achieve the Emperor's ambitions, but there's so much against them that they cannot achieve this. Will humanity ever be able to follow the Emperor's path and achieve this enlightenment through the webway, through becoming a psychic race? At this point, the odds are stacked heavily against them, but let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think the Emperor did the right things to achieve what he wanted to in order to make humanity become this superior race, or was it always fated to fall and crumble before him? Of course, we have chaos to blame, but at the very end of it all, is it not the Emperor whose ambitions were too big? Let me know down below, and we'll keep the conversation going. But for now, that's all I got for today. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist here, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, if you could put my freedom first in any